It's springtime here in southern West Virginia, and with the temperatures warming up and leaves coming out on the trees, it's easy to see why this state's motto is almost heaven. But beauty won't put food on the table. That takes jobs. And around here, jobs mean coal.
Coal mining has a rich history in Appalachia that continues today, providing more than 70,000 direct, higher-paying jobs in West Virginia. Today, those jobs face an uncertain future. Environmental groups are lobbying the Obama administration to crack down on some of the practices essential to getting the coal out of the ground. One of the main targets, the practice of mountaintop removal mining. Jimmy Cook is with Massey Energy, the fourth largest coal company in the U.S. He points out that mountaintop removal is rarely practiced anymore.
All these permits and all the Republic have are what they call AOC permits, approximate original contour, which means when we mine out here that we have to put the mountain back within 50 feet of how it was originally.
His miners scrape away the soil to get at the seams of coal underneath. But once that's done, the mountain must be painstakingly rebuilt.
So we'll move in here in spring planting season. We'll come out here and we'll plant all this with the native hardwoods, or the hardwoods that are native to this area and what the permit calls for.
But sometimes landowners have other plans.
Whether it's, it's a flume or a ditch or a pond, when you go back to the landowner and say, okay, we're done here, we're going to put this back the way it was, they'll tell you no. They'll say, I want that road there. I want that pond because me and my grandkids go fish in that pond now.
But that's not the only opinion. Longtime resident Judy Bonds helps oversee Coal River Mountain Watch, an organization that opposes mountaintop removal.
Because they're creating moonscapes out of mountains that were once productive, and how blasphemous it is of people to say we can do a better job than God. Below mountaintop removal sites, there are selenium discharges that deform fish, and basically we're looking at science as well as common sense for what we've known for a long time.
We have never had any problem with our drinking water.
Megan Skaggs' children attend Marsh Fork Elementary, located right next to a controversial coal mine.
My husband, working in the coal mines, allows me to stay at home to take care of my children. West Virginia provides 50% of the nation's electricity, and the people that are against coal mining, I think they should turn their lights out, move somewhere else.
But some environmentalists are doing just the opposite, moving into the area to protest the mines. That includes Mike Roselle, who came here from Montana to start Climate Ground Zero.
But I think if you look at North America, this is really one of the most egregious ways that we get our coal, and it comes at a very, very high price, not only because we lose the mountains and the forests, but they bury the streams, and they're producing a lot of toxic waste.
His group's protests take a strong activist approach, including trespassing on mine property and civil disobedience.
Well, we've had 5 protests over the last 6 weeks where we have entered the blasting area where Massey is blowing up the rocks to load out and start the mining. So we've been trying to physically block them from doing that.
These kinds of protests are drawing criticism from the coal companies and residents alike, who point out that Mike Roselle helped found an organization that led to the Earth Liberation Front, labeled by the FBI as one of America's most active and destructive domestic terrorist groups.
It's when they cross the line into a criminal act, and it becomes very concerning to us, whether it's disruption of someone's freedom of movement, is it harassment, is it economic loss and or injury.
But Mike says that's not what his group's about.
What we do when people come here is we make them sign a pledge that they will not engage in any property destruction, and so far everyone who's come here has agreed to do that.
Some say one man's environmental crusader is another man's eco-terrorist. But to the people here, the bigger issue is what effect this dispute will have on jobs in the region.
If valley fills are being targeted, then that could have a serious detrimental impact to all types of coal mining.
Randy Huffman is with the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection.
And in West Virginia, quite frankly, with our terrain, if we're going to have a future economy after coal, we need to be able to use the coal mining practices that are taking place today in order to create developable land and suitable land that can be used to build a diversified economy in the future.
This mountaintop was strip mined about 30 years ago. Back then, there were a lot fewer regulations as to what they had to do when they were finished extracting the coal. But you can see it's recovering pretty well, and the farmers that use this area say that it's good for hay and for cattle. For me, it's just a lot of fun.
Dave Hutchison has farmed this mountain all his life.
You cannot block water. It's impossible. Can't be done. It's got too much power. Plus, they put in sediment ponds to catch the silt and the runoff. The environmentalists are taking what small information that they're having, and the public's being totally misinformed about the whole concept of strip mining. Me and my wife, we really love this place, and we love West Virginia, and we couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
And that's one thing upon which almost everyone here can agree.
I would like to think that we have a future. And when I see what's going on right now, I'm very concerned that we really don't have a future.
We have about 240 employees, but every one of these guys live right here. And they'll tell you, every one of them will tell you, you know, I mean, they love it. They love the land, they love to hunt and fish, and they're proud of what they do. They're proud of this operation, and they know what we do to be stewards of the land, to take care of it and do the right thing.
Chuck Holton, CBN News, in southern West Virginia.